Serving is a must. He's the Alpha, the boss. This is DJ Nicholas on the show. When you hear the trumpet or the flute, know it's a battle. And we put your people in a drive, ready to tackle. Like Mary, you are going to use your foot, kick off tackle. When the war so easy on me body, and when the God man them there, the man the look and the God them there.
Where the God man them there? Well, the God man them right in the place. Greetings, salutations to the man them from Moran Point in the Grill. Those who can hear us, of course, we still offer condolences or prayers for those who have suffered and in such a bad way from Melissa, rebuilding, recovering, and it's such a hard road. But all the man them that pulling out all the stops, so on to big you up. This is the mailbox. It's November 26, 2025. We're looking at closing the empathy gap, and what a time that we need this way of seeing each other, being empathetic. This is Kevin Bailey, Courtney Morrison in the place, and this is the mailbox here every Wednesday at 5:30 on your favorite gospel station, Love 101 FM. So before we can close the empathy gap, we need to understand it. One of the most striking aspects of empathy research is the hot-cold empathy gap. This bias explains why our decisions and judgments shift dramatically depending on our emotional state, something we all experience but often fail to recognize. The empathy gap is a well-documented psychological bias in which individuals struggle to understand or predict the emotions and behaviors of others or their future selves when experiencing different emotional states. Coined by behavioral economist George Lowenstein, this concept is detailed in his 2005 study, Hot-Cold Empathy Gaps and Medical Decision Making, published in Health Psychology, where he demonstrates how alternating emotional states significantly distort our ability to predict and understand feelings across time and between ourselves and others. Man and man, it's often helpful to use examples. So here are a few examples. A low-key, more logical parent may too quickly dismiss a child's emotional distress as misbehaving, forgetting their emotional expression is natural and they lack self-control developed over many years. Another example, a partner feeling happy with their accomplishments at work may minimize the significance or the still stinging hurt of their spouse from an intense argument they had the day before. And finally, an overwhelmed leader may misinterpret a team member's quietness as disengagement or a lack of dedication to the company, or a manager may lapse and forget their empathetic goals during high-pressure deadlines. This is the program designed for men with guests who are men, hosted by men. It's aired every Wednesday unless it's holiday at 5:30 p.m. right here on Love 101, the family station. It's the mailbox. I'm Kevin Bailey, my co-host right here.
Good afternoon, Jamaica. Good afternoon to World Wide Web. I am Courtney Morrison. And to all our listeners, we thank you for making it Love 101 and making it the station of your choice. We're talking about closing the empathy gap. I also extend condolences to the nation, to the family of the late, great Jimmy Cliff. I hope I got that right. Yes, I did. And to all those who are experiencing that, to the family of Nicola Grant, a member of our church this morning, lost their grandma. So there's so much happening, and empathy is going to be important, especially in recovering from this hurricane. But we're focusing today because November is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. The global theme, closing the empathy gap. November is the focus. And so as we seek to close the empathy gap, we focus on addressing societal barriers that prevent men from seeking help and prioritizing their mental health. It's all about encouraging everyone to advocate for, listen to, and support men in their lives. Yes, promoting a culture where men feel comfortable discussing their emotions and challenges. Today, we'll be having a conversation with our guest, Mr. Feliciano Thorpe, guidance counselor, as he shares on the great opportunity to break the stigma surrounding men's health and raise awareness for positive change.
That's right, Courtney. Our very special guest this evening is Mr. Feliciano Thorpe, guidance counselor. Just to share a little bit more of him, Feliciano Thorpe is a dynamic educational change agent and psych entrepreneur who leverages psychology, psychometrics, counseling, and innovation to drive meaningful transformation in education and beyond. With over a decade of experience in the mental health field and an MSc in psychology from the University of Roehampton in London, he integrates psychological science with entrepreneurial thinking to empower individuals, enhance learning, and promote people centered growth across organizations. As a guidance counselor, student success coach at Excelsior Community College, Great Community College, Feliciano empowers learners to overcome psychological and academic barriers while fostering resilience and motivation. In his capacity as a psychology lecturer and researcher, he bridges theory and practice to create applied strategies that advance emotional intelligence, leadership, and lifelong learning. A British Psychological Society BPS certified psychometrist, Feliciano brings analytical precision to psychological assessment, enabling data driven approaches to personal and institutional development. His commitment to advancing psychological knowledge is reflected in his prolific research output, authoring and co authoring 29 research projects spanning applied psychology, education, artificial intelligence, IT, crime, violence, and innovation. Courtney, you have to help me there. Finish up for me there, Courtney.
Beyond academia, Feliciano's passion for Jamaica's history informs his understanding of culture, identity, and human development, guided by his mission to harness psychology as a tool for breaking barriers and sparking change. He continues to shape transformative learning experiences and inspire innovation through research, teaching, and organizational development. That's a bit about our guest. There he is smiling with and he has hair on his chin but none on the top of his head. Mr. Thorpe, it's great having you today.
It's fantastic to see two men
I
who
want to
have
see you
added to my
often on
life.
Facebook, but
I tell you.
Yes. It's pleasure is mine to come on the program. I'm really in the presence of greatness. You two men have definitely added value in my life in more ways than you think. But the pleasure is mine. Yes. Yes.
I tell you, thank you. Really appreciate you coming.
Yes.
It is our pleasure to have you, and we're sure our listeners from Moran Point to Negril and all over the world will benefit from your contribution. Looking really forward to it.
Yes. Should I begin?
We're honored to be in your presence, sir.
Yeah. I remember Mr. Bailey. Oh my teen years and those camps. Yes.
Long time. Eh?
Yes. Yes.
Let me tell you, it is indeed good to see the work you're doing and the contribution that you're making. And we know we only have you, I think, for until
6 because I have another mental health presentation. I'm trying to balance because there's a demand because of what we're currently going through. Although that presentation is more on digital wellness, you might have to call me back for that.
No, that sounds good. We may definitely have to do that. Yes. So let's just say, man and man, we want to hear from you. We're live on Facebook.
You want us to do this and just get deep into it?
All right.
Sure.
All right. Men and mental health. Definitely.
Yes. So talk to us a little bit about your position on men and mental health. Do you think we're paying attention to it? Are we getting better? What are some of the things that you would like to see and to be done as we focus on men and their mental health?
Well, definitely there is an awakening. I'm really tremendously grateful for that. Mental health, I'm hearing it even in circles that usually never really hear it. And men are having the I even hear it in music. Some of the artists talking about their mental health now. And so definitely there's an awakening happening in the consciousness of men, and they're recognizing that they must give priority to their mental health. It's a start from where we were coming from, but we have a major road ahead of us. We still have some cultural paradigms to deal with as it concerns men and help seeking behaviors and how we view, because men are creatures of value. And so if they don't see something of value, they're not going to go towards it. And so what I desire to see more, for example, more men coming into these circles, because whether we like it or not, representation matters. And even you two men right now, who have added value to my life and added in some shape or form to who I am today. So representation matters, whether we like it or not. And the psychology research has shown social learning, men are more drawn to other men, or when they see other men going into areas, that type of role modeling, that type of vicarious learning, when they observe and see that more men are going towards for help and there's no shame in going towards that when men see those things, they will gravitate more to accessing mental health. So definitely want to see more influential men like you creating safe space like this, and having the conversation, the hard conversations, and creating an opportunity, a psychological safe space, so that men can come, they can tune in, they can listen to hear the challenges and the things. Because one of the things about psychology, it gives us a voice. It helps us describe some certain emotions that a lot of times we sometimes do not know how to describe, especially as men. And I want to talk about some of them before I leave today. All right? Yeah.
Very good.
Yes.
We also want to hear what you think are some of the drivers behind our men feeling fearful to seek help. What are some of
Oh,
those factors that cause that fear? What are some of the stigmatizations? If you
one
can
of
give
them,
us a few, we have a
yeah,
minute and a half before going to our first break.
one of them is learned helplessness.
Go ahead.
Learned helplessness is a condition where you go through extreme stress, trauma, or failure, hardship. And after a while, it erodes your self efficacy and your motivation, and you just don't feel like anything is going to get better. And as a result, most people are men or boys who experience learned helplessness. It's like a give up, an action paralysis. It's like they freeze in that zone. And so it's like the nervous system causes them to shut down. And so they're in that zone. And so it's almost like they cannot be reached, no matter, even when the resources is there to help them to overcome something. And so learn helplessness is not an inability not to change. It's more a cognitive distortion. It's more has to do with their belief. And so a lot of men are succumbing to this because life can be challenging. And I've experienced many boys in my work who struggle with this. Because what happened when men experience learn helplessness, they internalize the issue. So they are struggling with their finances. They might say, me just salt, and our Jamaican language, and me just can't do better. So me stay. We
Brother
can't
Thor,
change. Yes.
we are gonna come back to it, but we're gonna take
All
our
right.
first break, and then when we come back from the studio, you're gonna go
Uh-huh.
right into it and tell us how we're gonna solve it. So
Yes.
yeah, Courtney and Kevin in the place. We're with Feliciano Thorpe. We're back to
All
go
right.
to the studio, then we'll be right back after.
Grace is giving shoppers discounts on over 20 of your favorite Grace products when you cash out at participating supermarkets.
The time that Grace could move is
5:45.
It's the BMall Auto Limited Big Hurricane Relief Sale. Visit our Santa Cruz location and get 15 to 20% off all auto parts. Yes, 15 to 20% off. Conditions apply. Enjoy 15% off all auto glass purchases at all locations, plus get free installation. Hurry! The sale ends November 30, 2025. Visit us at 24 Caledonia Road, Mandeville, 114 C. Hagler Park Road, Kingston, and 16 Main Street, Santa Cruz. Call 876-618-2781 or 876-618-2783. BMall Auto Limited. Quality parts, great prices.
The Urban Development Corporation is pleased to announce that following the passage of Hurricane Melissa, several of our landmark attractions have officially reopened. The world-famous Duns River Falls and Park, Harmony Beach Park, Otrius Bay Beach, and Turtle River Park are once again ready to welcome families, communities, and visitors. In the spirit of national recovery, these spaces stand as symbols of Jamaica's strength, unity, and resilience. UDC remains committed to supporting our people and rebuilding stronger. UDC, building a stronger, more
We are by your side, looking after life. We've been here for 25 years and we are
Guardian Life.
just getting started. Leading the way every day, protecting you and yours at every stage.
Guardian Life.
Looking after life, caring for family, caring for you. Looking after life is what we
For
do.
every generation, for every stage, your partner for 25 years. Guardian Life.
Looking after life.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
Ha, yes. We're back.
To the program, The Mix. I'm Courtney Morrison, sitting in with Kevin Bailey, and along with us is Mr. Feliciano Thorpe, who is counselor, Success Excelsior Community College. We're talking about closing the empathy gap. And before we left for the first break, we're talking about factors that inhibited men from seeking help, and he spoke about learned helplessness.
Mm-hmm.
You want to continue from there and then help us with some solutions, Mr. Thorpe?
Yeah, so learning helplessness is a serious condition, mental health condition. It's not a psychological disorder. It's more about how people believe about a particular situation. And it is usually caused by extreme stress, hardship, repeated failures. And so many people, especially many boys and men, will come to the conclusion that better is not really coming. And as a result, they tend to withdraw, they tend to internalize defeated mentality. And even if the situation, you bring the help right in front of their eyes, they probably would deny even accessing that help. And the reason why that happens is because of what is going on in their brain and in their nervous system. A lot of times we don't factor in the biological dimension of mental health, because what is happening because of that repeated to extreme stress, their body goes into survival mode. And so as a result, they either freeze or they stay in a zone, they don't want to move. And so many times we might think they're being lazy and we might chastise them because we don't really understand what is going on inside of them. One of the ways we can really help men and boys validate what they're feeling. That's one of the first things. The man up thing and, you got to get through this and all of that thing. Sometimes we miss understanding because men like to be understood. And so validating their feelings is very, very important. Another way we can deal and counter learned helplessness is to pretty much break down tasks, especially for people who have learned helplessness. Take it step by step, phase by phase. So the man is having serious financial challenge. Don't say you have to go fix your finances, Don't say that. Instead, say to him, come beside him and say, look, let's look at your finances for 1 week. All right? Let's see how you spend, and let's see how best we can see if we can save a $500. So doing that, encourage support seeking. Real men know when they need backup. Yep. Real men know when they need backup. And so encourage them to seek maybe a pastor that they can confide in, a brother that they can connect with and can have a real genuine conversation about the struggles that they're going through. Another thing, also help them to remember past successes. Sometimes when you're going through that fire and that mountain, remember say he did overcome something, Yeah. So sometimes help them. For example, you can ask them a question. Is there a time when you actually save, if you're doing finances, you save towards something and achieve it? And it might start to say, yeah, when they do 2 jobs and then be able to buy the car. And I said, look at that. I mean, what did you do? And they start talking. And I said, look at that. So you got successful, but the steps you took, look at all of things. And just have that conversation with him and see how that boy or that man eyes will just light up. So these are some of the things we can use to counter. So taking and type of alongside approach instead of just casting, saying that you have to seek help. No, we can't take that approach. Men have to demonstrate to other men how to get help. They need positive mental health role models. It is critical for men, because that is how men are very vicarious learners. And we have to start cultivating the mental health agenda to meet men need. Another thing I want to tap into that is not really talked about in the realm of mental health is testosterone. Testosterone, the gene that really makes us feel like men. Yeah, man. And causes our physical frame, our physical sexual, primary and secondary sexual characteristics. The problem is that there's serious research looking at the correlation between testosterone and mental health, because mental health is more than just a sexual hormone. And so when men are low in that, as you know, as you're moving below 30 men, just let us know, you start to gradually, your testosterone start going down. But unfortunately, some men are experiencing a greater dip, much more faster. When you start declining, that's normal. But because of our lifestyle and the stress, there are seasons when our testosterone might be very low. And when we have low testosterone, that can affect our mood, because it's very important in regulating our happy hormones like dopamine and serotonin. And when those dopamine neurotransmitters are low, we can be very miserable. We might struggle to keep our anger and all of these kind of things. We might have difficulty thinking and all of these kind of things. We might have low motivation to do certain things that we want to do. So low testosterone levels affect us men very uniquely.
What are they to do, Brother Thor? Even as
what
you
they can do?
Yes,
so exercise, it has been proven to show. Get in the gym, or you don't have to get in the gym. Start walking, use a bicycle, go under the tree and lift up and do some pull-ups under the tree. We are Jamaican. And all of these kind of things you can do. Physical does help to improve your testosterone. Get more sunlight. I've noticed that because of the technological age, we are more on the phones, and that is why I'm right now doing a presentation on digital wellness, because what is happening, a lot of people are getting too caught up, especially our men. And the research says that especially men with poor mental health tend to stay on phones longer than norm and feed on negative content. Mm-hmm. And so it's very important that men become very conscious of their digital life. They need to be digitally fit.
And as a result, they need to have what they call mindful scrolling on the phones and stuff like that, to be very aware of how it's impacting and changing their minds and the kind of content that they're taking that can affect them mentally. So exercise, getting enough sunlight is very, very important. I don't think we recognize that, even though we live in the Caribbean, most of the boys are just on the phone or the games or whatever, and they're just in the place staying for hours. No, you need to get outside. You need sun. It's very important. Vitamin D helps lift off depression. You need to get in the sun. And some of these things that we can do to really counter some of these things. Another thing that I want to touch, I didn't want to touch it, but it's psychological aggression. And psychological aggression is verbal or non-verbal behaviors that harm or control or used to intimidate. And when it comes to domestic violence is a serious issue in Jamaica. A lot of times we only focus on the female gender. But for men, one of the tenets of domestic violence is called intimate partner violence now. And one of the tenets is psychological aggression. And globally, 53 million men are affected by this. And so it can come like insult and put downs. You're stupid, you're worthless, mocking their abilities. And a lot of men go through this, especially in relationships. Name calling in disagreements, harsh word, demeaning labels. When somebody wants to win an argument. Women experience it too, but I'm just saying men go through a lot of this. And I think a lot of times this actually might trigger a lot of men in a negative way and cause them to maybe be more aggressive, because they might go into a fight mode, a survival mode. And when they go into the fight mode, they are not really thinking straight. The logical part of their brain, which is the prefrontal cortex, is not really thinking. And so that can cause a lot of issues. And to really deal with that, a lot of men need a lot of under social skill development, interpersonal skill development, and how to really take care of themselves, have that interpersonal positive relationship with themselves and with their significant other. A lot of times, a lot of men have very poor models as it concerns relationships, and sometimes they don't see the positive ones, and as a result, that can cause a breakdown. Yes.
Sir Thor, thank you so much.
We know you're going to have to leave us.
I'll come back again, man.
Yes. Go ahead.
No.
So men,
please. Hoping you can do so next week. Then.
Yeah, so I just want to say, men, take care of yourself. Know that you're important. And one of the primary message I want to leave that has been very revolutionary for me is that God the Father loves you. And that's something that you need to run with. And take that love and let it define your manhood, because God the Father celebrates manhood. And so that's my last statement tonight. I got to go. Pleasant night. All right.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Feliciano. We're going to talk again.
Really do.
That was Feliciano. Clark.
I love his presentation, Kev. I really love his presentation, because it's something that I've been promoting over the year, that we need to say to our men, I'll walk with you through it, as opposed to man up and, step up to the plate. Those things already taught, you're reiterating to him, he has already failed, and that's not what he needs to hear. It's now 6:00. We take our second break. When we come back after the break, we'll have another guest with us. We're talking about closing the empathy gap. November is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Soon come back.
I am a man, yes. Strong man. Integrity man. I am a man.
Clean hands are good for your health. In the wake of Hurricane Melissa, protecting your health includes a simple act: washing your hands. Use soap and safe water to remove dirt and germs after cleaning, before eating, and after using the toilet. If clean water is limited, use hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol. Remember, clean hands stop the spread of disease and help to keep families safe. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
I'm Itana, and human trafficking is everybody's business. Call 1-888-PROTECT to report suspected cases of child trafficking.
The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6 o'clock.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
Welcome back. This is the Mailbox, aired every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. on your favorite gospel station, Love 101 FM. Courtney and Kevin in the place. We're going to have our second guest, Mr. Paul Park. And just to let you know, Paul Park is a counselor. He's an author, a lecturer at GC Foster College. And we're going to be having an interesting conversation as we focus on men's mental health and all that entails. It is so encouraging to know that we have been focusing on these areas for the last 13 years, Courtney. And more we're seeing persons buying into, engage into the reality that our men have feelings, they have emotions, they are human beings, and that needs to be validated.
Indeed. The 3 A's that I love to talk about: men needs to be acknowledged, affirmed, and appreciated. When that happens, then the final A steps into place. Then they feel accepted in society. Men are feeling undervalued. Men are being misvalued. And it's time that we really ensure that we encourage, empower, and uplift our men. And Kevin, I've always remembered, I told somebody this up to yesterday, something that Kevin said many years ago. I think it was within the first year of the Mailbox program, where there was a complaint about the gentleman coming home late and stuff. And I heard Kevin say, well, you can start by giving thanks that he comes home. And that just said, my goodness, even in all of that, Kevin is finding the encouraging, empowering thing that we can focus on. That is a start, and it only takes a spark to get the fire going, Kev.
That's huge, Courtney. That is so huge. What Brother Tharp shared, about learned helplessness.
Oh God.
Let me tell you, men who have been beaten down verbally, physically, sexually, religiously, all the alleys, and over time, the brain, as it were, feels that nothing better. I cannot move from here. And that is something that we have to acknowledge, Courtney.
Yes.
In Jamaica land we love, in our own subcultures, what are we doing to our boys and men? And need to change the narrative. We need all hands on deck, because we see the tsunami. So there's a complaint about what the men not doing and how violent the men are and how unproductive the men are. But what about the root causes of it? Because our men have not been understood, validated, loved, challenged, yes, but encouraged and empowered. We want to continue that journey, Courtney.
Kevin, as we're talking about closing the empathy gap, there's so much apathy when it comes on to men and not empathy, because men are seen as these non-emotional creatures that are able to withstand anything thrown at them, because psychologically they can't be affected by it, or they should not be affected by it, because they are men, which is so far from the truth. Men, I tell people, I believe in the Bible. It's my foundation of faith and where I live. And I can remember, for those who are listening, that God created women from men. So when we say all men come from women, I beg to differ. All women came from men, and everybody came from a man. And the truth is, God did not place all our emotions or take them away from us and give to the woman. We might actually have 1 or 2 more than they do. It's just a matter of how we manage, or how it is that we adapt, or how is it that we share where we're at. And I think we need to recognize that And when we begin to recognize and identify, then we can find the solutions to what is happening. Give a man support, Kev. Give a man all the support he has. You see the best man you can ever have.
No, it is proven. Research shows it, and we see it. So we want to change it. We're really glad when we see the changes happening. And by the way, Courtney, I have to tell you that we have quite a few judges in our corner. You know
yes.
that we have Judge Paula always supporting us and praying and encouraging us. Well, I met two other, Judge Findlay and Judge Roper out at Clarendon Parish Court, and they really are just big supporters of what we're doing for our boys to men. So I want to shout them out and all the wonderful people at Clarendon Parish Court. Really appreciate that. I see Paul Park is with us. Sir Paul, welcome to the mailbox.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Great to have you. And
but really... Sir Park, you need to park, because you're moving up and down. You need to park.
Yes.
Very good, sir. Welcome.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me again.
Yes, just want to remind.
It's good to have you with us.
Yes, Courtney. Remind our listeners that Paul Park is.
Come on, go ahead. Do the reminder. I'm not sure what's causing the delay, but go do the reminder.
Right. So Paul Park, he is an author, he's counselor, he's a lecturer at GC Foster College, has been doing an amazing work in our nation and other places as well. And so we're very happy to have you with us. And we know how time flies, so we're going to go right into it. But we want you to give a little introduction. Where were you born? What was early childhood like? Were you born with gold spoon in your mouth? Talk to us a little bit about that, Paul.
I enjoyed my brother, Mr. Thorpe, and his presentation. And just reflecting on it, growing up was hard. Was brought up in a little district called Banbury, and poverty was the common thing. But we weren't told that we were poor. We were told that, boy, guess what happened now? You have to eat whatever placed before you and give God thanks and your bed. So if it is some corridor, you eat that and you give God thanks, so you go. But significantly, what helped me and my brother is the fact that we had a loving father, and so he expressed himself to us, and we learned how to be a man through him. No, that is rare, as you can see in our society today. Mostly women heading the household. So I give God thanks for my upbringing. But it wasn't a gold spoon in the mouth at all, because life was rough.
Oh. We say it wasn't even necessarily on the fingers.
Yeah.
Sir Paul, help us to establish what is empathy. We're talking about closing the empathy gap. If you can help us with establishing the foundation, what is empathy? We're also in Men's Mental Health Awareness Week. Give us a little into that. What is empathy for those who are listening?
Going beyond sympathy is putting yourself in the position of the individual, feeling what they're feeling, being moved. I like the scripture. Every time you see when it says that Jesus was moved with compassion, it's that form of empathy that caused you as an individual to want to address the situation.
No, that is huge, but it seems to be a bit difficult, because I'm just wondering, are you seeing evidence of us doing that specifically in our nation? And what is your sense? And then why do you think we're not doing enough of that?
As it relates to men, there is such a cultural dynamic to it that, first of all, the boys are trained to not cry, not show emotion. And then when you grow up, you're not allowed to even show emotion with your brother. You have to be careful because there's a line of demarcation, and if you cross it, you'll be called a different name. So you don't want that stigma to be assigned to you. You don't want people to have that question mark over you. So you're a macho man, and man must be man, and man must bully a woman and thing, and you know. But it's a cultural thing that we need to deal with, and I'm glad that we are addressing the matter. It's a cultural issue, and we have to re-educate our family. It starts with the family. Yeah, it starts with how you raise your child, your boy. So the proper parental skills must be now taught to them. It has to be culturally relevant. So we do our own studies and we find out what is the best practice or practices. And then we, educate our families. And in church is a good way of doing that. Educate our families as to how we treat our boys separately. How do we teach our boys to be men, but at the same time to be emotionally sensitive and emotionally well-rounded?
Sir Paul.
Yes, sir.
I have this.
You're muted, Courtney.
I'm not sure what's happening.
You're muted. Courtney, you're muted.
Keep on going on and off. It's back. Keep on going on and off. Thank you so much. You spoke about how boys have been trained. I'm almost going to play a little bit of devil's advocate at this place. Not a good place for me to become a devil and a friend. But two boys holding hands walking down the road. My brother-in-law and I once were at a bus stop, and we know each other, and he came places and around my shoulder, and he was saying something to me, but immediately the person's behind us stepping back. So I said to him, I want you to slowly take your hand from off my shoulder. I'm not ready to be hit by anyone here in public. You and I know our position. We're married and we have our wives, but the people behind we seem to think different. How can we change these stigma, or should they be changed? Is that something we must show empathy towards? Tell me.
Education is important. But I am not sure that our society is ready for the changes. What I see happening is that persons are being more tolerable and they are more emotionally intelligent. So nowadays, I don't see the natural reaction of aggression when it comes on to if they see a man crying, for example, in public or holding another man's hand. Look at this. When we're playing football, right? Or we're playing any other sports, cricket. When a goal is scored, all them man they run go up,
yeah.
Cricket, yes, man, they run a high five and jump on them.
Yeah.
But that is just within the context of a game. You dare not try that in public. You dare not try that in public, and it is because of how our society values and our norms, our mores, all of those contribute to how a man should behave himself and how a man should conduct himself, especially in public. As it relates to how do we change it? Education. You have to educate the society. I believe in the Bible, and I believe that a man must be attracted to a woman, right? That I have no thing. I cannot compromise that belief. So I believe that. But at the same time, how does a man show congratulations, show empathy towards another brother without him being marred or scarred by a stigma? It comes down.
Big question, Brother Paul. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna be back, but I want you to talk a little bit about how females can help with this situation, specifically because 53% of household are headed by women, and so how do we partner together to help our boys? This is the mailbox. We have a very special guest here, Paul Park in the place, Courtney and Kevin. Go to the studio. We're gonna be back in a moment.
25 years ago, Holt's Hardware opened its doors with a very important mission to serve our customers with honesty, hard work, and quality service.
As we celebrate this milestone, we are filled with gratitude for all the customers who have supported us along the way.
That's why, as part of our 25th anniversary, we are giving back to you, our valued customers.
Through our annual customer appreciation sale on Children's Street on Friday, November 28th to Sunday, November 30th.
That's 3 days. Yes, you have heard me right. 3 days packed with activities, treats, giveaways, and up to 50% discount on selected items. We have not only helped you to build houses, we help you to build hope.
From our family to yours, thank you for 25 amazing years of trust, loyalty, and love.
You can see the face, but not the heart. Those who want to do you wrong.
Bless up. This is Christopher Martin. Human trafficking is a crime. Let's unite to end human trafficking. Be wise, open your eyes, spot them, stop them, and report them.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
No shadow at the dark. No shadow at the dark.
It's the Answer Select Your Discount sale. Up to 50% off when you select your discount at Answers Gifts and Home and Answers for Children. Select your discount sale at Answers now until Sunday, December 14, 2025.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
Welcome back. This is the mailbox here every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. on your favorite gospel station. Courtney Morrison, Kevin Bale in the place, and our very special guest for this section, Paul Park. Before we went to the studio, Sir Park, I was asking if you could just talk a little bit about how can women partner with men? What can women do? And specifically those two who are the only parent in the home, if over 53% of them are heading the household. But do they have a function? Do they have a part to play in helping our men to feel validated, to understand their feelings, to treat them as human beings, and so that we're in a good place to get the best results? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah. You know, one of the things my mother did for me when I was growing up, I couldn't read, couldn't write. What I noticed she did was to show a high regard towards my feelings and my inabilities. And she validated my feelings by responding in a positive way. And then she would take me into a room, close the door, you know, not to allow my other siblings to be aware of my disability. Take the time. So I learned early that a man should be given respect from my mother. Another thing I learned from her is that she was so smart that she rotated the household chores and the yard duties. So you learn to be domesticated, and you learn to swing the cutlass and cut the grass and do every single thing.
Yes.
And my mother said to me once that I am teaching you, because I was rebelling at one point, and I used to just mash all the crackers when it's my time to wash plate, because I mean, the things I wash plate.
Mm.
Pablo, I'm teaching you these things because when you grow up, no woman will be able to take advantage of you. And my eyes popped wide open.
Wow.
So, see, when you explain to your young men, explain to your boys the reason behind why they are going through this training, because training session is important. They will get an appreciation. So you have to teach them the basic fundamentals of, because one of the challenge the women are having is that they say can't find domesticated men.
Mm.
but it is how, and I keep on going back to parenting, how parents utilize their parental style and how they treat with certain issues. So we will have family meetings and then we'll discuss certain things and then we'll iron it out. I remember one day, I said something to my sister and I got the hottest box across my face.
Mm.
Then after that, I expected a beating and she said, no, come let me talk and tell you why I box you. And she said, no, you must treat women with respect. And then she started to tell me why I must treat women with respect. And I said, okay. So you see, if you know how to deal with certain issues, then you can allow the young man to grow up having a high regard for himself, one, respecting himself, knowing that he ought to be respected as a man, and then to show respect to the female gender and to show that they are to be nurtured and to be cared for.
Sir Paul, thanks for sharing that. Our women do play a vital role in aiding in the process of closing the empathy gap. But what about our men as well? I find that our men give the support that is necessary to other men, or sometimes are we also too need it, probably because of our own background, not knowing how to show empathy is also causing a widening of the gap as opposed to a closing of the gap. How can our men help other men?
We just have to reach out, be that friend that would be there for the individual, be there for the man. You have to be there for the man. And you have to know your friend, because we have different personalities. So some brothers just want you to sit with them and just be there. You don't have to say a word. While others will appreciate you taking a drink and then having a conversation. It's if you're not sensitive, then you have to do some research and to appraise yourself of the information that you can now assist a brother in going through his issues. It is so important because men value the support of men more than women. Tell you that when a brother stands with a brother, he feels more appreciated and strong as a man. So you as a brother now need to put aside the orientation. Yeah, we are orientated not to show emotion. No, we are orientated not to move too close to our brother. And get educated and learn how you can assist, or you can go alongside a man and say, yo, how can I help you? Some people just want to know, boy, you want me to handle this part right for you. I give you an example. I have a co-worker whose father died.
Mm-hmm.
The funeral is coming up, and I said to him, what happened? We're not hearing anything. He said, boy, the funeral is X time. He said, you want me to arrange the transportation for you? He said, all right, go on, man. And I went and I did all of that. Find out want, and if you can assist, you assist. If you can't, then you call another brother and say, yo, make a go handle this to the man.
Yes.
It is important that you first assess the situation, assess the personality of the brother, and then draft up a plan in how you're going to help him. Yeah. And then you go and you approach it and see how best you can assist.
So I know we're almost at the end of the program, but what would you say to our men and our boys as we consider this topic of empathy? Why is it important? What does it do? Do we see it come out destructive if they don't get it? Is it gonna make us more productive, more closer to God? Why is this so important? Talk in your final words. Yeah.
The passage came to me where when Jesus went to the tomb of his good friend Lazarus and he cried. His Bible said Jesus
wept.
And the comment from the people was that, see how he loved him. It is important that we get in tune with our emotions and don't be afraid to express ourselves, because persons are looking on. They are learning from us. They want to know how they can assist us. But if we bottle everything up as a man, then they won't be able to assist. So one of the things is get in tune with your emotion. Don't be afraid of expressing your emotion. Even in public, Jesus expressed himself in public. He cried. And it wasn't the first time he cried. He cried when he looked over Israel and knowing in his infinite wisdom what was going to happen. He cried in front of his disciples. So don't be afraid to be vulnerable. If it is, yes, you know that persons can use your vulnerability against you. So be selective with it. Yeah, be selective, but don't be afraid to be vulnerable, especially when you know that your brother is there to support you.
Wow.
Indeed, indeed. You know, one of the things here, Brother Paul and Kevin, and it says, practical, engage in being mindful of others can help individuals become more aware of their emotional states and better understand how these states affect their perceptions and judgments. In other words, we're saying to our men as well, be sensitive. Not a word we like to hear, men, but be sensitive, be open, don't necessarily be hard and harsh. Any final words you want to leave with us, Sir Paul? We're at the end of the program. Basically, we have a minute and a half to go.
We as men tend to be hard on ourselves, and especially when we're going through difficulties. I want to say to my brothers, you know, it's a good place when you find yourself in hardship to be kind to yourself. Nothing is wrong if you step back a little. You have a meditation. You enjoy your favorite meal, and you just you know Jesus would take the time out to go up into the mountain,
yes,
with his Father.
Amen.
So
Amen. Bless you. Bless.
Support.
So we say thanks.
Yes, thanks.
Sorry. I'm not sure. Not hearing clearly. But thank you, Brother Paul. Thanks for being here. Indeed, it has been a pleasure. We have had two guests today, Paul Burke and Mr. Feliciano Thorpe, both guidance counselors, both doing a tremendous work in the nation with our men and with all those young men as well. We say thanks to Jermaine Johnson, producer Nicky Angus for technical support. And we say thanks to Derville Graham in studio. We end the show with this quote: empathy is a respectful understanding of what others are experiencing. That was said by Marshall B. Rosenberg.
That's right. So thank you so much for being with us. See you next week. Same time. It's going to be a great, great time. I want to thank Paul Park and thank Brother Thorpe as well. Courtney, bless you as we continue. Empathy is a respectful understanding of what others are experiencing.
Indeed, indeed. So next week, Monday, that's our show for today. Bless you.
Man! Hey, man!
I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man, I am a man.
You're tuned to Family Radio in Jamaica Radio, 101 FM, and the time is coming now to 6:30 p.m. So it's that time of day for us to bring you the